Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything. I'm coming at you with another Wargaming miniature video. In this video, we're going to be painting a party of 4 D&D adventurers. We have a Dark Elf Warlock, a Tiefling Rogue, a Dwarf Druid, and a Gnome Wizard. And we're going to go ahead and paint those guys up. Today is the 3rd day of the series, and this should be the finishing touches. Alright, so let's get started. One thing I wanted to use was bright, they call this solid gold. It's actually a very bright color, a very eye-catching color. And I wanted to hit each of the figures with this color, mainly because it'll really make the figures pop. But on a couple of them, they have belt buckles or they have straps. And this gentleman here has got some cords or cabling, and because he's a warlock, I kind of wanted to give him more than just like a rope. I wanted to give him something a little bit more golden, you know. I noticed that not one of them has a sword. Okay, I'm going to trim his cloak with gold as well. Or his cape, I guess. I don't know, cloak, cape, whatever this is. Right. Okay, see how that gold really makes his model kind of pop out? It really makes a kind of a cool difference. Okay, but I still want to do the sheath, the dagger, this little pouch, belt. Okay, so we'll put him on this dwarf out. And his belt buckle right there, I've always wanted to do in gold. Some kind. And yeah, nothing left but for some black lining on this guy, the dwarf. Just needs some black lining and I'll be done with him. Okay, so I'll just put him, set him way off to the side. Let's see if the tiefling needs anything in gold. Oh, he's got a nice belt, and he doesn't look like he gets anything in gold. None of this stuff looks like it should be gold. Ah, he's got a knife in there. Look at that. I didn't notice that before. Okay, we'll get that. Now I was going to paint his chest piece silver. I wasn't going to paint it gold. And I was also going to paint his inner helmet silver. So let's go ahead and jump into the silver. Right, we're going to use chainmail silver from Vallejo. Right. Let's go ahead and do his skull cap. That's not the cat. Okay. And then There, and look at that little chest piece. I'm going to get my 0.2 micron pen. Okay, maybe this is a 0.005. Yeah, I've got a 0.005 micron pen here. And I'm going to put some symbols on his book. Right, so they're going to need to be super tiny. Or it could just be one big symbol. I'm not going to do that. Magical symbols on them. And I might put like some scribble on the bottom like it was actually text. That is cool. Okay. You really can't see it. It's not focused very well, but I'll make sure that I focus it up close so you can see it. There you go. You got a book with some magic symbols in it. All right, now continuing on with this gnome, I pulled out some chestnut ink. What I'm planning on doing is just putting a few little drops of ink in random spots on his hood and cap, because it's just pulled tight over the top. That's why it's smooth. There we go. Those are the brown ink dots. Now I'm going to let those dry. They will actually thin out and they will become very thin drops of brown. And then in the middle of those, we'll put a dot of actual brown or black or something inside. And it'll really make it look like a chocolate chip. It'll look good. Okay, so black lining, dots. Okay, we got to do the sheaths. Okay, now I've had a request by Bobby to make his horns darker. He didn't like the fact that they were bone colored. He wanted them to be like a darker color. So we're going to use black. You see the bottle, my black bottle is so much bigger than everything else. It's because I use it more than anything else. I'm doing this under protest, but Bobby wanted it done. What it does is demons, or let's back up. Anything evil should have black, like fingernails and horns and stuff like that. I completely agree with that. And good guys should have like bone colored fingernails and bone protrusions, especially like the dragons. The colored dragons should have like black toenails and claws and spines and horns and stuff like that. And then the metallic dragon should have lighter colors. And because what it does is it gives you a feeling. It changes the temperature of the model, and you could tell that he's like an evil creature or what have you. But the problem with painting that black is that the horns now disappeared. You can't see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight them with maybe some charcoal. So all the belts, belt pouches, and anything pouch related is going to be nutmeg. Can you see that belt contrast? Yeah, you can. Good. But when I go to black line, you'll notice that all this stuff will start to like go pow, and it'll pop out. Okay, he's really, really good looking. Okay, I'm going to touch up his leg just a little bit, because that's what today's video is about. It's about fixing mistakes and adding detail. And where's that gray? There it is. Because it looks like I got a little bit of brown on his leg. And I want that to disappear. Well, he does have a belt buckle. I probably could paint that gold. That would really stand out. It could be just like a metallic silver belt buckle. Dang, this guy's got pouches all over him. Some are bigger than others. That kind of looks like it might have used to been holding a knife. Go ahead and put that on those black horns just to make it not so black, but still pretty darn black. Because you can see the charcoals right there, right? Now you can at least see some of the bone detail. Okay, I've got this color called Scarlet. It's like red, but it's really bright. It's a really light red. And I'm going to paint that on the sheaths of the weapons. The daggers. There's only a couple of them. It basically makes the dagger sheaths stand out. They'll like, boom, they'll be out. It looks like the side's not done. Hold on. Yeah, now it looks good. All right, this guy, his dagger's like super concealed. Well, he's a rogue, right? I know they don't need anything else, but oh, that wash is almost dry. Okay, cool. Nope, he doesn't need anything else either, damn. Okay, brass. Okay, so I've got brass here. Now, brass is going to be the cross guard or the hilt or whatever you want to call it of the daggers, and any other piece of metallic piece that I need to do, it's going to be brass. I probably should pull out my 20-0 brush for this, but I'm going 10-0 on this. Actually, that's probably good. I probably shouldn't touch it. All right. That dagger looks kick-ass. See, the crossguard is brass, and the counterbalance is also brass. There we go. You know what? That guy looks so much like a skeleton, right? I mean, his face really looks like a skeleton. I think that's because he's got a beard. And it's just, I painted it flesh. I'm going in. I'm gonna paint his I'm going to give him a beard. I'll use linen. That's pretty dang light. Okay, I'm using linen, and what we're going to do is we're going to paint the cheek whisker area of the cat. Whoops. Touch my charcoal a little bit and just touch the nose. Maybe the eye area. Kind of looks like a cat, huh? Yeah, perfect. Now we've got that really dark brown dots on his back. Now we're going to put some of this light brown. Right, that's probably too light. No, that's perfect. Okay, we're going to use that inside the dots. So it's going to be like a dot inside of a dot. See that? So we just have to be super careful. No, we don't. We can mess up all we want on these, actually. Because you kind of want a little bit of overlap of color. Here we go. Yeah, those are starting to look good. All right, I'm going to give you a close-up of this. See how that looks? Wearing a cat. Okay, so now we're going to go into black lining. And then after that, we'll base up the figures, and then we'll be done. So I've got this Pixma brush right here, right? I'm going to take this dwarf, and I'm going to find spots that I feel needs to have a line. Like I feel like this spot needs a line. And then what I do is I just add a little black line right there. And I try to keep the lines as small as possible. Okay, now here's an example. You can barely see it, but there's a brown on the tan there. And when you go to do the black lining, you're going to almost completely disguise the fact that there's a brown line there. Because what it does is it's hard to see that. You can't even see that, what I'm doing. I'm doing it up close to my ear. There we go. That's a lot better. See that? Black line. See how that makes that back panel like really stand out? That's why you do it. The boot pant separation is super important. That's a major contrast. Okay, there we go. Boot pant transitions, black lined. This dwarf's looking good. Okay, so let's set him up. I was kind of looking him over. He kind of looks like he's already black lined, like he's ready to go. See how there's already a black line in the hand and the glove, because that's what I prime black and I don't paint all the way to the edge to help with black lining. That way I don't have to go back later and fix things. Yep, that's black lined. Yeah, he looks good already. Yep, he looks good. Go with the tiefling. Okay. You see where the fold of the clothes, it's exactly the same color. So what you do is you black line to bring out the fact that there is a fold there. Otherwise would be lost. It makes the model look deeper, like it's got more, like its details are thicker. Okay, we're almost there, sir. We're almost there. Okay, let's take a look here. Now I wanted to black line his skirt in ways to kind of show off that there are a number of Roman like tasks. What do they call those things? I don't even know. And the skirt has multiple little spiky, leathery things that lay down. And I think they're all done. All right, so now the final, well, there's two more steps. There's three steps if you want to count it this way. I've got to do grit, flock, and a clear coat. So let's do the grit. The grit, I use a railroad talus. I just put a little drop of Elmer's glue on here. Actually, it's bigger than a drop. But I put a smidge of Elmer's. I use a Tester's paintbrush, which is great for moving glue around. And then I just make sure the entire top of the base has got Elmer's on it. Trying to avoid as much as possible the boots, but I'm really not concerned with getting any Elmer's glue on the boots. Because all that means is some of this grit will actually stick to the boots, and that's perfectly fine. But I do try to avoid, I don't want it to be excessive, so I do try to avoid it as much as possible. Base. Give it a rub around the outer edge, and then total submersion. Okay, let's go to the next guy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to let those guys dry for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be right back for now that it's been a few minutes, what we're going to do is we're going to take these guys out. I'm going to shake off the excess. We're going to tap it, let the excess gravel fall off. I'm going to brush off any excess that might not be sticking, and then we'll set these guys off to the side. Tap. Perfect. Close that up. We're done with the gravel. Next step, we're going to apply some static grass to these models. Now, the trick on applying the static grass is not to do a 100% coat. What we're going to do is, here, let's use this guy as an example. What we're going to do is we're going to put about 2/3 coat on this guy. So we'll put a little bit of Elmer's there and there, right? And then maybe a little bit right there. There we go. Now we take our brush and we will, of course, move it around, getting it to stick really good to the gravel that's already on there. Okay, there's a big chunk right there. And then sometimes I like to connect the front and the back between the legs. You don't have to do that. There we go. That's about 2/3. I don't know if you can see, it's not 100% coat on the Elmer's. And then we sprinkle the static grass so that it rains down on it. Very thinly, like a thin, light, misty rain. And I keep going until I don't see any more of that white Elmer's shining through. I look all over, I'm looking for the white Elmer's, and if I do, I rain more onto that spot. All right, and then I'll set him off to the side. All right, guys, we're going to let this set for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll be right back because the grass doesn't need to dry that long. All right, guys, now we're back. We're going to go ahead and shake off all the excess grass. Again, I use my soft bristle brush here. I tap. You can see the grass falling off, all the excess. And then I brush it. And we're almost finished. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clean all these up. I'm going to take them outside. I'm going to spray them with a Krylon flat sealer or a flat coat, dull coat. It should take any gloss off of the models. Also, it'll seal everything together. Okay. All right, so let me get these shaken off, cleaned off, and then I'll be right back. This is how they stand right now. Now give me about 5 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm going to spray, 10 minutes, because I got to spray them and then let it dry. It does take about 10 minutes to dry, and then I'll be right back. Here we go, guys. Everything is completely finished. They're coated. Their bases are finished. The miniatures are done. Everything. Now let's go over each individual figure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we'll take a look at them. All right, here we go. We got our Tiefling Rogue. All right. Whoa. Got our Dwarven Druid. Gnome Wizard. Let's take a look at that cat skin. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. I like that little face of the cat right there. That's pretty cool. And then the book. Magical symbols. Pretty darn cool. Last but not least, our Dark Elf Warlock. All right. Alright guys, well thanks for coming out and checking out this video. And I'll catch you next time.